Okay friends, so as you know, Team YourPedia is in the campus of BITS Pilani, and thanks a lot Professor
Thank you
Sudhir
so much. Thank you so much for coming down here.
Yeah. Yes. So Professor Sudhir is director of BITS Pilani, and I'm really thankful to him for sparing time. Not only Professor Sudhir agreed to discuss a couple of interaction points and give time to me, he also agreed to walk and talk and go to this is iconic clock tower of BITS Pilani. So Professor Sudhir will be moving ahead with us and will be discussing a couple of interaction points. So Professor Sudhir, first of all, welcome to YourPedia.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, your views will be very, they will be very significant for prospective students who want to be part of BITS Pilani, the premium institute, sir. Professor Sudhir, you are academician par excellence. I was going through your profile, and you are highly decorated academician. Very vast experience in educational ecosystem in India and world over. So may I request you to tell about Professor Sudhir. You only will introduce yourself, sir. And
thank you. Thank you so much. I just want to convey to you that I did my bachelor's and master's in MS University, Baroda.
Yeah.
I graduated in civil engineering, and structural engineering was my specialization.
Okay.
Followed by that, I did my PhD from ISC Bangalore.
Okay.
In 1989 to 1995.
Okay.
I was working for a multinational company, and followed by that, I went to Tel Aviv University in Israel for my postdoc.
Yeah.
And in 1998, I came back and joined IIT Kharagpur as a faculty member in civil engineering department. I'm still associated with IIT Kharagpur. In 2020, January, I joined as a director of BITS Pilani campus as a director. Since then, I have been associated with BITS Pilani. Okay. However, my major responsibility is to look after the Pilani campus here.
Right.
I do mostly the administrative responsibility part. Currently, I'm not teaching here.
Yeah.
However, I was teaching in IIT Kharagpur. So this is what my just brief background about it.
Wonderful. So Professor Sudhir, everybody knows BITS Pilani, one of the oldest institute India has, and very, very premium institute. It became Institute of National Eminence in 2020. So people know about BITS Pilani. But I want, for my viewers to know about BITS Pilani from your perspective about BITS Pilani. If you can introduce your institute to my viewers.
Sure. I think it's a wonderful question. I just want to tell you, Mr. G.D. Birla, our founder of this institution, he belonged to Pilani, and he, as like a typically Birla families does, they wanted to create some philanthropic work towards creating an excellent education ecosystem. So around 1905 or so, this particular institution has started as a school, what we call is a Pathshala. And then after that Pathshala, it became the intermediate college, and then it became a Birla College. In 1964, this was converted into the deemed to be university of called BITS Pilani. All right, and that is how this whole institute was created. So the whole journey of this institute was very challenging times, because the earlier days Pilani was from the point of view of the accessibility. There were no good roads, no connectivity was there, and it's such a challenging time. This institute was created. When this institute was created, I just want to show you something very interesting, that in early, I think 1930s, when this institute was as an intermediate college, all right, that was a time when Mr. G.D. Birla really approached to the Pandit Madan Mohan Malaviya ji of Banaras Hindu University, requested him to give someone who can really nurture this institute. Okay. And this place was a very, very, as I said, it was a very difficult place. So that time, Professor Sukhdev Pandey, who was a reader at the Banaras Hindu University, he was requested to come down here and set the institute. And he came here, and during those challenging time, he came and served for this institute for 40 years. So his sweat, his contribution was tremendous to this institute, and that has nurtured this land to convert it as an education hub in Pilani. So today, I think whatever the BITS Pilani is known as a synonym, it has become Pilani. And Professor Sukhdev Pandey, he actually, 1956, Government of India has recognized him as given the Padma Shri. So that is such a wonderful story about the dedication, the passion. There are some stories about Professor Sukhdev Pandey that those days he used to go with the lantern to village to teach the students in the evening. And that was a contribution what the academic institution leader was doing. So I think the kind of an activity what Professor Sukhdev Pandey carried out, which has created such a huge impact that the ethics, the integrity, the sincerity, the honesty, the determination to contribute to the underprivileged and privileged people, providing a quality education was, I think, the key themes. That is how it was created.
Yeah, Professor Sudhir, when I was seeing Sukhdev Pandey's his Padam Shri in 1893, that was the time when World Religious Conference was being conducted and Swami Vivekananda participated. And somewhere I was reading that that was the time, sir, when people were associating education with religion, because Vivekananda ji mentioned about how education is so integral part of spirituality that time.
Correct.
And that was the time, sir, you are academician par excellence. You also know that our prestigious institutes like ISC Bangalore were created, and how Tatas were also participating in that, and Birlas were participating here. Our business people were creating such wonderful educational institutes.
Absolutely.
I'm really thankful to you for mentioning this, sir, and I'm feeling proud to be standing here today.
I just want to add a very interesting thing, because you mentioned about ISC Bangalore. I am a graduate of ISC Bangalore and the PhD from ISC Bangalore. So that's an institution which was inspired by Swami Vivekananda to Mr. Jamshedji Tata on their cruise on the ship, and that is how the institute had started. But very interesting part, Swami Vivekananda has a connection to this place as well, indirectly, but not directly to Pilani. But if you recall that Swami Vivekananda wears the turban, the kind of the safa he wears. Actually, it is a reflection that from here 60 kilometers away there is a place called Khetri. And Khetri is Maharaja Ajit Singh Ji. He was his very good friend. So when Swami Vivekananda has come to this place, and he had presented him this turban, and that is the turban which symbolizes the Rajasthani typical turban, but of course in saffron color, and he used to wear that, and they used to have a lot of communications. So somehow the footsteps of such a individual like Swami Vivekananda who has passed through this place, possibly that connection of two business houses which are taken in one breath, the name of a Tatas and Birlas, where ISC started with Tatas and BITS Pilani has been started from Birlas. I think it's a wonderful connection having the youth icon like Swami Vivekananda.
True. Professor Sudhir, you are still part of oldest IIT of India, IIT Kharagpur.
Correct.
You are presently director of one of the oldest institute, BITS Pilani, and you have connection with ISC Bangalore also.
Correct.
I believe the three most important educational institutes in India. But working in different ecosystem. BITS Pilani is not in government ecosystem. Other institutes are in the government ecosystem, and you have very vast experience about that. I get opportunity to ask you, Professor Sudhir, that when it comes to higher education in India, and India is the country with best brains in the world. I mean, very capable people. And still, when it comes to higher education, specializations in higher educational domain, especially STEM domains, we have very less institute like BITS Pilani in the private domain. Largely, they are in the government domain. So, how do you see this challenge? Because India, the vast country and the huge population, that only government sector ecosystem cannot cater to the requirement of the citizens of India. So, how do you see this entire situation?
I think it's a very interesting question. Because let me just give you a little interesting part of it. I take a lot of pride in saying that I had an association with the three institutions which are recognized by Government of India, Ministry of Education as an institution of eminence. ISC Bangalore, IIT Kharagpur and BITS Pilani. ISC Bangalore has been always on a forefront of a research-based institution. And of course, postgraduate and research-based institution. On the other side, IIT Kharagpur was the first academic institution started after our independence, post-independence, to take care of the industrial revolution and creating the human resources for industry. And that is how the first IIT was created in Kharagpur. And that Kharagpur is a location, again, was a very remote location. They wanted to create an academic institution where there is a, not only from the point of view of the nationalistic feelings connection, but also creating a human resources which is very talented. Having said that, the institutions like IIT Kharagpur were fully funded and supported by the government of India.
Yes.
On other side, there were business houses, they were creating an academic institutions where they wanted to contribute to this whole industrial revolution also. And particularly, nothing could have been better than the business houses like Birla's, who had the need of the talented people also in their businesses. So naturally, they invested to start the academic institution like BITS Pilani. It's already started as a college, but getting transformed into a university. But one of the most fundamental part which was very critical for setting up this institute was that merit should not be compromised.
Yes.
So this institution has become a merit-based institution. Typically in government institutions, we have the reservations and other things are there. However, in BITS Pilani, the whole admission process is only based on merit.
Merit-based. Yeah.
And that is how actually the different part was created. Earlier, BITS Pilani started as an academic institution more towards the teaching, creating the more human resources for bringing into the market. But now, over the period of time in last 15 years, we are transforming our institute as a the teaching as well as the research institution. But early stage back, when this BITS Pilani started, 60 years back when the BITS Pilani started, the early stage we had a great connection with MIT and Ford Foundation. And the MIT professors who have come and stayed here and taught the students and all that, brought a new ideas of a curriculum from MIT to this institute. And that has been imbibed into our curriculum. And one of the most important part was that because post-independence, India needed a talents which can be industry ready. So the concept of industry immersion program, what we call is called practice school, was embedded into the academic program at a very early stage in BITS Pilani, where the students get the opportunity to spend almost like 7 to 8 months into industry during the 4 years of their stay in the institute. So I think the ideas of the setting up the academic institutions where they can really contribute towards the nation, and nation building was the key word there. And they wanted to create the people who can be very useful to the country and spread the name outside. So I always just say that the BITS I define as the students who are bold, who are innovative, who are top-notch, and who are socially relevant. So if you take a BITS,
that is how
so it's a bold, innovative, top-notch, and socially relevant, and that is what kind of the citizens we create.
Professor Sudhir, we are standing now in front of iconic clock tower. So can you mention a couple of things about this tower to my viewers?
Sure. So this iconic tower which is there, it's on a lighter note I just want to tell, because the tower which shows the time, sometimes because it's a very old tower, we are going to change the the clock. But currently sometimes mechanical devices do not work properly, and sometimes they show the different time to different clocks. And I always tell that this actually reflects another philosophy behind it, that no time is bad. So if the one clock is showing a bad time, maybe the other clock is showing you a better time. So and the dialogue of a gully boy goes here, apna time aayega.
Wonderful.
So that's how it goes.
So Professor Sudhir, my next question to you is related to the funding to private institute by the government.
Absolutely.
When it comes to research, which is part of the academic ethos of BITS Pilani.
Correct.
When it comes to research, it is highly capital intensive domain.
Absolutely.
And we talk about the emerging technologies, and recently government conducted AI summit also.
Correct.
And we know that there are hundreds of crores of the investment required.
Correct.
Now you being part of premium research institutes like Kharagpur, IIT Kharagpur and IIC Bangalore and this BITS Pilani. So do you think that the funding which government gives to private institute is sufficient to proceed ahead with the research activities in such institutes, or do you expect, or what do you expect from the government?
Wonderful. It's a very good question, I must say once again. So coming from a government institute to a private institution, I must say first and foremost thing that 10-15 years back, it was extremely challenging for BITS Pilani to go for bidding for the large grant proposals. Okay. One of the simple reason was that we were doing the research, but we were not doing a research which was a cutting edge research or not so much of an impactful research. But last 15 years, we have invested hugely from our internal resources to create the best facilities for our young faculty members, provide them initial seed grants, providing them more and more facilities. And in the process of this whole exercise, we are able to now produce a very high quality research work, publications, the patents, the technologies, and also creating the technology which can be transferred to the industry. In the process, because of the quality of research what we are doing it, that has now brought it to the stage where the faculty members are able to bid for a very large grant proposals. So I will just like to share with you that the reflection of this whole exercise of our investing at an early stage from our internal resources, and still we are investing. It is not that we have stopped it, but we are still investing the resources from the funding from our side. Our faculty members have started going and bidding for a large grant proposal. So 5 years back, we have received a very huge grant, which was a very important grant, what is called Technology Innovation Hub, TIH. And in that, it was in the cyber physical systems. In that, we are the only private academic institution in the country which has received a 125 crore grant. On other side, the 25 institutes were given the Technology Innovation Hub to be created. All the academic institutions starts with I. We are the only institute which starts with B. And when I say I, means it's ISC, IITs, ICERs, IIT, triple ITs, and so on. And we are the only private academic institution. So this is a reflection. The one part is that the government is also looking at the outcome, the investment they want to do, and these are positive steps, because government is also going ahead and funding those academic institutions who are competitive, who have research into the cutting edge areas. They are able to contribute to towards the nation, towards the technologies, and so on. Additionally, we also invest largely through our very strong alumni network. So I just want to tell you that our alumni have been very generous. We have more than 200,000 alumni all over the world, and currently we have launched the $100 million endowment fund in the next 5 years. We already received around $37 million in the last 9 to 10 months, and some of the alumni have invested very largely to create the Center of Excellence. So the first Center of Excellence was created into the almost 5 years back in what we call is a Center for Artificial Intelligence Research, where $1 million were invested. Followed by that, the next Center of Excellence was created in semiconductor technologies. So and then of course we are working on a strategic area, defense areas. We are also working into area of a sustainable energies and so on. These Center of Excellences are basically reflection that BITS Pilani has started thinking much ahead than what actually now the funding opportunities are coming. So what you asked about the AI Summit and so on, we had our own stall and we had just exhibited our things there and our activities which are happening on currently on the ground. So I think it's a both ways it goes in terms of government funding, in terms of our alumni supporting us and generating our resources through industry connects also. Because we have very strong industry connect. We have more than around 700 plus companies which are associated for our internship program, what I mentioned about practice school concept. So that is something which is provides us a nice interactions. At the same time, we are having a work integrated learning program, which is a working professionals, which are basically associated with around like a 50,000 plus, I think, working professionals are there, which is on the industry. So that's also connect helps us. So basically, in a nutshell, what I just want to tell you is that the funding is now not the critical thing for us at this point of time. We are competitive enough to fight for the funding with the government agency also. And we really appreciate that government has open mind now that they are okay with funding the government private institutions also, and they are seeing because of the transparency, because of the kind of deliverables, in terms of the visibility, in terms of the work doing of national importance. I think the BITS has been contributing tremendously, and that's one of the reasons I think the government has recognized that the BITS Pilani can really contribute to this.
Yeah, wonderful. Professor Sudhir, my next question is
Yeah.
something which I can ask you. You are a highly decorated academician. Not only you are connected with different I's in India, ISCs, IITs, now BITS also you are connected. You have very vast exposure to international top institute, global institutes.
Absolutely.
So you have been in NUS Singapore, University of Canterbury, New Zealand, Tel Aviv, Israel, CMU Pittsburgh, USA, lot of institute, very vast exposure.
Correct.
I will ask you very straight questions, sir. I take luxury to ask you that question. When it comes to top 100 global institute in the world,
Correct.
India deserves to be in that, Professor Sudhir. So
Absolutely.
why are we not in top 100 institutes in the world?
Okay. See, one of the very important thing is that Government of India has spent a lot of money in centrally funded technical institute. Always the preliminary goal has been of our academic institution to create a human resources which was the need of the industry.
Yes.
So most of these IITs and if you look at the BITS Pilani also, in a very early formative stage,
Yes.
they were more of creating the graduate program,
Yes.
what we call undergraduate
Yes,
program.
yes.
So we were creating a more human resources towards undergraduate research
Yes,
program.
yes.
Now the landscape is changing.
Yes.
Now the landscape is changing where now research is taking a center stage. All these academic institutions were doing a research,
Yeah.
but somehow the priorities areas were different. Now the priorities areas are catching up, and since we are emerging economies, we are looking at the competing with the best of the world. So I'm sure that next 5 to 10 years, I think India is going to demonstrate on a world ranking in terms of a global stage,
Okay.
a fantastic results. And I'm very, very happy that government has now this time started R&I funding, through which I think that investment is going to connect the things,
Okay.
academia, industry, and contribution, which will I think build around that. And I'm absolutely positive that all academic institutions, be it the private or be it the government funded institute, they would be able to bring the global ranking abroad. If you look at the top notch foreign universities which are performing very well, be it I have seen some of the universities like Stanford, I have seen Cambridge, I have seen Oxford and all that, they have an old legacy.
Okay.
They have a very strong alumni
base,
network.
yeah.
They have a
Yeah.
very strong
And very
support
old
system.
institutes also.
Very, very old institution. They don't have to compete, MITs
Yes.
and so on.
Yes.
They have a system which is
Yes.
developed. Now
Yes.
we are evolving with that
Evolving.
system, and we are very positive about
Okay.
it. We were, I think, after our post-independence, I'm sure all academic institution leadership is putting
Yes.
their heart and soul into it.
Yeah.
And I'm very positive that I think maybe next 5 to 10 years we'll see the radical
Yes.
change happening.
Wonderful. So as expected, Professor Sudhir, very positive reply to this, and we are not late, but with passage of time,
Absolutely.
certainly we'll be in that league.
Correct.
Professor Sudhir, as a director, what are your vision for BITS Pilani?
See, BITS Pilani, definitely, of course, we want to one of the best into the world, actually. We want to, it is not about the competition with anybody else, but as I say that we need to really create our own iconic impression in the world. And that's where I think the vision has been always first is that undergraduate program where we want to give the curriculum when the whole landscape is changing into the AI world. How do we really make a curriculum which is very exciting, which is evolving very fast with the time for an undergraduate student? Invest a lot of money into the research so that we do the quality, impactful research which can create the resources for the industry. The third thing which we want to invest, which has been always the iconic things about whether BITS Pilani has been entrepreneurs factory in the desert, and we want to create as many as entrepreneurs which we can produce. So far we have produced 6,500 entrepreneurs, but CEO and founders and co-founders. We want to do something which is one entrepreneurial thing, and after everything which goes should be actually get impacted to the social life or community, so that the country gets benefited, the community gets benefited, the world gets benefited. So our emphasis would be that have a very focused approach to create the niche area state-of-the-art curriculum, carry out in cutting-edge research, create the ecosystem where the entrepreneurial talent is being given the ecosystem properly, and finally create the work which can be like a socially impactful work which we can do for the community.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I'm very sure, and I wish Professor Sudhir, these all things will be met with the passage of time.
Absolutely.
So, Professor Sudhir, I have completed more or less all the interaction points which I was having in my mind.
Correct.
Thanks a lot for that. Now, last, any message you want to give to the parents or prospective students of BITS Pilani, or
Wonderful.
anything which I must have missed and you want to convey?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much. I think it's a wonderful question. So I just want to convey to the students that the first and foremost thing that coming to BITS Pilani, I welcome you all to join to BITS Pilani. It's pretty competitive, but once you come to the Pilani, I'm sure you are going to give it an experience where it said you'll become a fearless. You would be absolutely asking all tough questions to everyone. Great learning experience. I think nothing could be better than this ecosystem. And let me just tell you, you'll be standing on the shoulders of the great alumni who has made the brand value of BITS Pilani. To parents, I think only one word I would say, that I think the sky is the limit in this campus. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks a lot, Professor
Thank you.
Sudhir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.